What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the very next episode of Hui Fishin'. Today I am installing a fish finder. This is the Humminbird Helix 7 and we are gonna install this on the Old Town Big Water 132 PDL. So part of the kit, we are gonna be using a line through hull kit. Basically, I'm gonna have to drill some holes into the kayak, but I don't want a bunch of cords sticking out. A lot of brands make it. Old Town makes it, Wilderness Systems, Hobie. I just picked up whatever I could find. They're all generally fairly close to the same quality, maybe slightly different design. However, the reason why I picked this one, well, it was in stock, and at the same time, it was very cost effective. So let's get to it. For my power source, what I'll be using is my Dakota Lithium. It's 12 volt 10 amp, and this came from my flasher that I use for ice fishing. So that's what we'll be using. I got a inline fuse for it. That way I don't damage anything. What I'm gonna require for this exact line through hull kit is a 1 3/8 hole saw. I'm gonna punch a couple holes. I decided exactly where I'm gonna punch it already. So the Old Towns, they always have a plate at the bottom that you can remove, and then you stick your transducer on. So I've already taken that plate off and I've mounted my transducer right on here. This is exactly where it would sit. A little bit, quite flush to the body, a little bit higher. That way it doesn't get caught, that way it doesn't get caught and get damaged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these screws off right here and reinstall the plate that was originally here from factory. I'm going to stick this on. Where did I put the other screw? Oh, right here. Okay, and this is the entire transducer cable. It is quite long. I'm gonna slightly untangle this here, and then we're gonna put it straight through this transducer hole. And we're gonna pull it all the way through from the other side. Just like so. And then I'm gonna flip this kayak back down, upright. Okay, so this right here, as the line comes up, my battery is actually going to be right here. So what I want to do is I want to punch a hole right here with the line through hole, and this line is going to run right inside, and it's going to go right through here and straight to the fish finder, which will come back around through the hull. So what I'll start with doing is I'll punch a hole right there. And I just gotta be careful. There is a battery bag right here supplied from Old Town. It comes with the Big Water. I just gotta make sure I don't hit that. Okay, so that's out of the way. Some of these kits, they come with a bunch of different like rubber seals. You just gotta pick the one that would fit your line the best. There's different size holes, double holes, and yeah, pick the one that suits your system. Every system's a little bit different. So I already chose out the ones that I need. I'm gonna put it smack dab right in the center. We're gonna start a little slow. Oh, let's turn the torque up here. This is the one I chose right here. So all it is, basically a sealed insert right there, a little ring on the other side. It goes right on, and then this kind of seals it from the other end. So I'm just gonna run this through really quick here. Just gonna install it in the proper sequence. I just gotta make sure I run this transducer cable through the seal first right there. We're gonna run it through. Cord is so long. We're gonna need to zip tie this after, just to keep it all nice and tidy. Okay. So this is the exact one I chose. It has a little slit right here. What I'm gonna do is stick this right on. Then after that, the plastic casing around it goes on. You just basically shove it right through. Fairly straightforward. You can put a little sealant or silicone or something in there if you like, just to help seal it a little bit better. Okay, now we're going to stick this rubber gasket on, that way it seals around it. We're going to try to make sure all these edges are quite cleaned off, that way it seals. I'm going to stick this rubber gasket on here. Let's do it this way. Okay, and now on this end right here, I just gotta stick this ring through the other end of the transducer hole. We're gonna pull that transducer line through. And then we're gonna tighten it down from the other side here. Just like so. You see how it's kind of sticking out on this end right here? Yeah, I'm just gonna tighten it down, and it should be fairly well sealed. Again, this is not completely waterproof. It is water resistant, so I'm sure it could be pretty waterproof if you sealed it with a marine grade adhesive and sealant. Okay. Tighten it down fairly snug. There you go. So that's the transducer right there. You get look at the one side, and this is the top right here. Transducer cable comes up through that hole, nice and clean. Fairly low profile, I would say. Okay, and now the next thing. I have been kind of debating on how I should rig this up here. I chose exactly where I want my fish finder. It's going to sit right here. I'm just kind of debating if I should run this line through right here. It goes under this plate and just plugs into the fish finder right there. Or I can put it directly through the hull by putting a hole right here. So I'm kind of debating on that. You know what? I'm gonna put a hole right there. So that's where my next hole is gonna be. So this is exactly where I choose it to be here. This right here is the Scotty universal, I think. So this is a Scotty ball mount. Unfortunately, it came with a fixed ball, and I didn't want a fixed ball. I wanted to go on my track. This is probably where it's gonna be right here. Look how nice that hummingbird is. So most likely this is kind of where it's gonna sit. Tightens down very well on this ball. So most likely the cords are gonna come out. It's gonna come out from here directly to the hummingbird. So many of these kits right here, the reason why I chose this one with the 2 holes, because I'm going to need one power and one for my transducer. Many of these kits right here, you just have to remember and keep in mind, if you're punching a hole right here, make sure you could reach the other end in order to tighten it on with this other side here. So I'm just going to make sure I can touch and reach it, and seems easy enough. We're gonna punch it perfectly center right there. Hopefully I get it perfectly in the center. Okay, so I'm done with the drill. We're gonna clean up this circle. Okay, this one right here, because it's going through, I just gonna make sure I put this ring in first right here. Otherwise, if you don't put that ring in first, you're not gonna be able to put it on after. Thread. Okay, so what we gotta do is we gotta thread this one, the power cable. Gotta thread the power cable through. I'm gonna pull it all the way through here. Okay, and then we put it through this hole and gasket. And then it goes through this hole. Whereas transducer cable goes in reverse, back out through this top hole right here. So the transducer cable goes. Oh. So transducer cable comes right through the top right here. Okay. And I'm just gonna stick this in so I can gauge how much line I require. All right. And then this one right here, one side is sealed, so that way I had to pull it through by hand. We're gonna give a little bit extra. And this side, it's open slit, so I'm gonna stick this line through this end, just like so. So once we put that casing on, it'll seal decently well. So let's give it a little bit extra line and pull it through, just in case I want to maneuver and move the screen around. I'll have a little bit extra line. Let's see here. So let's just say if I wanted to loosen this ball and I wanted to shift it forward as far as possible, I want to make sure I have enough line. So we're gonna pull a little bit more line in, that way it's not tight. Make sure it's not too much though. Okay. Now we're gonna put this plastic casing on it. We're gonna shove it right up and through. Just like so. We're gonna line it all up with the gasket right below it. Actually, stick the gasket through. Okay. Well, that's how it's gonna sit, exactly like that. See, now check out how clean that looks once it's gonna be done right there. So it's all wired through. All I'm gonna see is this exposed wire right here and that exposed wire. That's all I'm gonna see. Okay, now this other end right here that I remembered to thread through. Now we're gonna stick it right through and we're gonna seal this up from the other end. This is the hard part, just lining it up and trying to tighten it on. Oh, I couldn't tighten it on because this needs to go through. Well, this is the hard part. Trying to line this up and tighten it on blind. I think I got it now. That's perfect. There's a lot of excess line here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some zip ties. We're gonna zip it up just to minimize the mess. So this is all transducer cable. Okay. I'm gonna zip tie that once again right up to the bag after. So this right here is the inline fuse. It's nicely sealed. I bought this from Canadian Tire. You can probably buy it many places. Okay, so I got my inline fuse stuck together onto my power cable. I used the heat shrink solder splice just to solder it together and heat shrink it. I brought that from, like, you can pretty much buy that almost anywhere at any electronic store or automotive shop or anything like that. Now I'm gonna crimp on my ends here. This one is basically just female disconnects. It'll just basically slide right onto the terminals on the Dakota Lithium. I just gotta crimp it on and it should be good to go. So we're just gonna stick this on right here. I gotta color this so it's all black. That way I don't get confused. Should be good. So that's crimped on. Now this is the moment of truth. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna plug this in here. And will my camera person press the power button and hold it? Let's check it out. Is it on? Yeah. And it's working. Awesome. So that's pretty much it. Everything is all done. You just gotta pretty much tidy everything up, tidy up the lines, zip tie it. I'm gonna stick this battery in the battery bag, and yeah, away I go. It's pretty much done. This is how clean it'll look right here. That's all the cords you'll see, just right here, and one right there, right behind the unit, nice and clean. So if you like what you see, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you next time.